I have some resident professors here in the comment section, and I appreciate them being here. We've got Michael Kearsley. He's always teaching us all something. It's amazing the knowledge that people have, and that's part of the fun of making these videos. Like, not only do I learn stuff, but everyone else who's reading comments can learn stuff. So I become enlightened by the comment section. So we've got Michael Kearsley, but specifically I want to focus on something Fab French had said. He's another resident professor here on my channel. His comment on the video I made called "How You Feel About Columbus Day Reveals Your Ethnicity and Political Leanings." He had this to say, quote, "The odd thing is that you often use the argument to have some Hispanic origins to explain that you are, think you are, less linked to European culture and identity than an American that would not have had those origins. The funny thing is that from my point of view, I have never thought the USA to be culturally more European than, say, Mexico. Both countries are Christian, speak European languages, have the base of their culture rooted in a European culture. Both also have non-European influences, African or Native American. I tend to say that on many points, the countries of Latin America where I have been felt more culturally European than the US did. A German or an English might have a different point of view," end quote. Okay, yeah, I love this comment because it challenges me. As an American who by default is going to be ethnocentric, it's challenging for me to accept this as truth, but I know it is truth. Because as an American, I want to think that because we came from Europe, when, you know that I love saying it, when the European Christopher Columbus discovered the land that was already here with people that lived here for 10,000 years, then when he discovered that, we are very much rooted by default in Europe. And because we speak English, but we have to be reminded, look at Latin America. They speak Spanish, which is a European language. So why is that? Why is it somehow that as Americans in the United States, we tend to think of ourselves as more European based and European descended than Latin America, which when you do a DNA test on a person in Latin America or even Mexico, you're more likely to find that they're probably around half European and half Native American of whatever denomination that would be. So, but to say that they're less European than Americans or more, it gets confusing, but I think this is what happens, okay? I think for the most part, you take an average American, let's take 100 average Americans in the United States. Yes, you're going to have minorities in it. You're going to have African Americans. You're going to have people who are Hispanic. You're going to have people who are from the nation of India. You're going to have people who are from the Middle East, and that sampling of 100 people. But the most reoccurring person you're going to find is a person who is mostly European descent and not anything else. You're going to find a lot of people with the name Williamson, and everywhere in their family tree it's names that we all easily recognize and can easily spell, right, out of that sampling. You do the same sampling, let's pick a country, Peru. Let's just choose Peru. Or do you want Brazil? Well, I don't care. You choose a country. You take a sampling of 100 people, you're more likely to find out that nearly most of all of those people have Native American DNA. And I think it's the Native American DNA. And when I say Native American, I guess I'm using it in the safest way I can. That's going to cover Mayan, Aztec, and every Native people that was there first, right? But that somehow that DNA causes people in the United States to think that they are somehow less connected to Europe. I think it's not even so much the Spanish language as it is that they're more likely to be that ethnic mix than Americans. Because here in America, in the United States, you're considered mixed if you are European and something obviously not European. But if you're in Latin America or even in Mexico, it's that blend that's so common that people don't think of that as people as a mixed race. But most Mexican people, and I'm not talking about the nationality, are about half European and about half Native American, and that's what's normal. But we can't say the same thing with the United States. I mean, yes, lots of people claim that their great-grandmother was half Cherokee until they take a DNA test and find out that really that was just a way for them to feel less guilty about, the whole Trail of Tears and all that happened. They want to feel connected, and they're disappointed when the DNA test proves that they're not. So I think ultimately that's the disconnect, why people in the United States feel more European or think of themselves as having more European influence than everything below the United States, which in theory is more European than anything. I think that's a challenging thought. That's my view on it. That's my way of helping it to make sense. But we've all learned this. All I do is start a conversation. What happens in the comment section ultimately is the real story. So let's check out the real story right here in the comments.